Hey, I'm Kev Kermisker and welcome to Power Oversteer. And in today's episode, we're reviewing the 14th round of the 2013 FIA Formula 1 World Championship, the Korean Grand Prix held at the Korea International Circuit in the Yangnam region of South Korea. I apologise for that pronunciation, but what a picturesque setting, lovely reclaimed marshland and not much else in the region, and is near the port city of Mokpo. I believe I said that half decently right there. But yeah, this race, it doesn't have the most interesting history, and it's not the most interesting venue on the circuit. I think on the calendar, I think most of us or some of us would rather see it off the calendar, me included. I'm not sure it adds much to the Formula One World Championship, and it's not a very interesting circuit to my eye at least, and it's just an event which I don't see what's the point of it from both sides, for the Koreans or FOM having it. And so yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Korean Grand Prix they held at this circuit. And heading into this year's race, there's a familiar guy and team at the front. Sebastian Vettel leads Fernando Alonso by 60 points heading into this weekend's race. And you also have Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Räikkönen and Mark Webber rounding out the top 5, but a bit way back and probably out of the championship battle now. Red Bull are leading the Constructors' Championship by over 100 points from Ferrari, only 7 points ahead of Mercedes. Then we've got Lotus and then McLaren are 14 points ahead of Force India in the battle for 5th. Behind them, we have Sauber catching on Toro Rosso quite fast after 2 good weekends for the team. And Russia still leads Caterham in the battle for 10th, despite not putting any new parts in the car since Barcelona. And so, some news ahead of this Korean Grand Prix. Well, there is a new pit exit at the venue. In previous years, drivers complained about the pit exit funneling them into turn 1 at the end of a very long and fast straight. And so, this year they've kind of extended it through the runoff area and it exits into turn 2 on the outside. And so, we might have cars exiting the pit lane are a bit faster than the cars going through the actual circuit and exiting turn 2, so that might be interesting for the race. Also, a 22 race calendar has been kind of issued by the FIA, and there's still some asterisks besides some circuits such as the Mexican Grand Prix. Korea as well has their organisers and Bernie have to have a sit down and hash out a contract which is a bit more favourable to the Koreans, as they don't really like the new one. They're losing too much money with this event. And so 22 races, and that is with Jersey back on the calendar. Bernie wants it, Bernie has put it back on the calendar, and it's going to be a very interesting 3-week period there, as it's scheduled in between Monaco and Canada. It's just been slotted in there at the beginning of June. Hopefully that will be sorted out if it does go ahead. Also, near the end of the season, we do have Mexico scheduled to be with the Austin Grand Prix, but Mexico has been visited by Herman Tilke. There has to be lots of upgrades to the facilities there and to the track, maybe, because it was renowned for being a very bumpy circuit when it last was on the calendar 20 odd years ago. So yeah, that might have to be sorted out a bit, and maybe modifications to the circuit as well to bring them up to FIA standard. Also, Jules Bianchi has been confirmed at Russia for next season. The Frenchman has been reportedly very happy at the team, and it looks like he's going to be there for another year. And his partner, we still don't know, but it's good continuity for the team and continues having at least one driver there at the team every season going forward. Well, apart from this season with Glockon. And so yeah, that's the news heading into the Korean Grand Prix, and well, that's actually everything. So let's talk about the Korean Grand Prix, and let's start with some track facts. So, track facts for the Korean Grand Prix held in South Korea, held in Yangnam. I believe that's how you say it, in South Yangla. I apologise for my pronunciation. It's 400 kilometers south of Seoul and near the port city of Mokpo, and it cost $264 million, the deal between Bernie Nicholson and the Korean F1 promoter Korea Auto Valley Operation, to get this Grand Prix up and running for 2010. And this was announced in September 2009, and they're confident with the funds in place to get this facility built in time. The track is again designed by Mr. Herman Tilke, and you know, it's it was meant to be a part permanent and part temporary track, with temporary part running alongside the harbour, where the hosts are hoped to be a city built inside, and you know, exhibition facilities, shops, restaurants, cafes, and you know, there was a grand plan for this circuit which has unfortunately not come about. And you know, it was a race against time to get this facility built for that 2010 race, and it was an initial contract for 7 years, but with a 5-year option until 2021. But you know, there's been troubles with this Korean Grand Prix. They also hope to revive the Korea Super Prix in 2011, a Formula 3 event, a bit like the Macau Grand Prix, which was held at the Changwon City Raceway, last race in 2003. But as I said, there have been problems, and it was a race against time to get this circuit ready for that opening race. They did have Korean Trinidad go around Chandok, even around the track in a Red Bull just before the race, and Charlie Wrighton did an inspection 13 days before the Grand Prix day. After a 2-day inspection, he found it was satisfactory, and the race went ahead, even though there was only 1 layer of tarmac put down. So there's a bit of resin on the surface, and it was also a wet race. It was very tricky, as Mark Webber proved in that first race. The venue has a capacity for 135,000 spectators, which it kind of didn't fill out on, unfortunately. And to build a circuit, it needed $77 million, or 88 billion won. And so it's quite a lot to build. But the circuit, 18 turns, and it's a very typical Herman Tilke circuit. First sector, all about the straights there and the hairpins. Second sector, very technical, got some nice fast curves in the middle there. And then the last sector, very technical, up against the walls, a bit like Abu Dhabi. And the first Korean Grand Prix, well, it was Fernando Alonso who won that after a very wet start. Race delayed by quite a lot due to rain, and it started behind a safety car, but when they were unleashed early on, Mark Webber made a mistake in his Red Bull, collecting Nico Rosberg in it. Then it was Sebastian Vettel, who was strolling away at the front, or very comfortable at the front, until he suffered engine problems. So Fernando Alonso won the inaugural Korean Grand Prix. But in the last 2 years, it's been Sebastian Vettel and Red Bull that have won both of them. Last year, Mark Webber got the pole ahead of Vettel, but Vettel got the start and won from Webber by 8.2 seconds, with Fernando Alonso in third in 13.9 seconds. Mark Webber also got the fastest lap in the race with a 1:42.037, almost 5 seconds far slower than his pole lap of a 1:37.242. The circuit, 5.615 kilometers long, 3.48 miles, with this 55 laps, which means a race length of 308.825 kilometers, or 191.4 miles. And this race, last year, the promoter was expecting, or director of the race organisation for the Korean Grand Prix, admitted the race was far too expensive for Korea, anticipating an annual estimated loss of $26 million, or 29 billion won, in 2012. And they're really hoping to reach a new deal with Bernie Nicholson for next year to help reduce those costs, get the sanction fees down. And so at the moment, it's unsure whether it's going to be on the calendar for next year. It's penciled in for an early April date, but yeah, we're going to see how that plays out next to their buddies China up there at the beginning of the calendar. But yeah, that is a bit about the Korean Grand Prix. As I said, it's has a very short history, so that's probably the shortest track facts I've got. I think India will be even shorter somehow. But yeah, that is the Korean Grand Prix. Let's do some predictions now. So predictions for the Korean Grand Prix held at the Korea International Circuit, and it's hard to again look past Red Bull for the win. Sebastian Vettel, as I said, won the past 2 seasons here. Probably would have won in 2010 if his engine didn't go as well. Mark Webber got pole here last year and supported his teammate very well in the sister car. So it's very difficult to look past Red Bull, especially with this year's car, which has been brilliantly developed. You know, development has been almost perfect with this car. They got this new low configuration setting which seems to work with the car, so they can afford putting a bit of their swing on the car now, and you know, get away with it in sector 2 and sector 3, especially sector 3 as well. And so yeah, it looks like Red Bull again are going to win, and again it might be showing of the finger as well. But as I said, Webber is quite strong around here, apart from 2010 where he made that mistake which arguably cost him the World Championship. You know, he was strong here last year. In 2011 he was okay as well. So yeah, look for Webber to be a good support in that at the race. And nearest challengers maybe, I think Mercedes with Hamilton. You know, Hamilton's quite good round here, and Rosberg, you know, he's always been okay as well round here, and so look for Mercedes to be challenging Red Bull. Maybe look out for Alonso to just sneak up there again, or always has those super starts in the Ferrari, and he seems to always be pulling out a result, even though, you know, he admits the car's not quite there, the team admit the car's not quite there. And funny enough, when looking back at last year's race, the car seems to be worse than it was at this stage last year. You know, last year the development was brilliant with the car, and you know, it was coming on strong towards the end of the season, despite not being there in qualifying. In the race it was very good, but it seems to be again the car's further down in qualifying over with Mercedes emerging as a contender, and you have Lotus up there, and occasionally you have the wild cards of Sauber and McLaren going in front. And in the race, you know, it's still a very strong car, and maybe they can grab a result in that, with that. You also have Lotus, who just seem to have fallen back a bit, and no, top 5 would be a very good result for them. It seems unlikely, but it would be a very good result. Maybe Roman Grosjean can get that. You know, last time out in Singapore, it looked like he's going to get it until, you know, he ran out his car. He just ran out of luck, and you know, his car had that air pressure problem, I think it was. So yeah, and maybe look for Grosjean especially to be up there. Raikkonen got the podium last time out in Singapore, but I'm not maybe expecting him to do that again around here in Korea. Then you got the midfield, McLaren to be probably the best of the rest, and look for Sauber to be strong as well. As I say, you know, especially in that first sector, be strong there, and look for Toro Rosso. Last 2 years they've got 2 cars in the points, of course, with Agstro and Briami in 2011, and then last year with Daniel Ricciardo and John-Eric Vergne. So yeah, look for Toro Rosso to be up there. Sauber, Force India, maybe they could scrape a point if either of those 2 slip up, and you know, it's going to be a very intriguing midfield battle. Further back, then you got Williams, who are again going to be nowhere, frankly, I think, and then you got Caterham ahead of Marussia, who haven't done any development on the car since Barcelona. I think we know where their development package is heading towards next year, it seems. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting Korean Grand Prix, and sadly my predictions for the podium are going to be Vettel from Webber from Hamilton, I think will be the podium. But let me know what your predictions are in the comments below, and that is my preview of the Korean Grand Prix. Again, I apologise for being super late. You know, it's a very big weekend for motorsports, with World Rally Championship in France, with IndyCar at Houston, and of course for us gaming directors or motorsport gaming directors, F1 2013 has come out, so we're all very busy with that. And so yeah, I do apologise for this being there, and also I was ill for half the week, so I couldn't do it for half the week. But I hope to be back with the review in much earlier than it has been with the preview. Hope I won't be late with that. I hope it will be up Monday or Tuesday. That's what I'm aiming for these reviews. I'm only a bit later with the reviews, but I hope to get a bit earlier with them for the rest of the season. But I hope you enjoyed this and out of watching. So till then, cheerio.